Prime Sports Media, Mike.
All right, everybody. Peace. Peace. Welcome to the program tonight. This is Prime Sports Media. I'm your host, the Information Man. Let's get into it right now. I have lots of material to go over with you tonight. Let me make sure if you can hear me, put sevens in the chat room. I want to make sure that audio is working in the way that it should be working tonight. This is the Prime Sports Media Show. Over here, you know you're going to get a great analysis, a breakdown. I've got lots of goodies for you in this analysis and breakdown. This is the pregame show. They're coming up this Saturday against Baylor. This is the opening of what we have been looking for, which is the Big 12 conference play. And Big 12 conference play is what's going to count, is what matters.
Tell the truth.
And let's give it a clap. Yeah. Big 12 coming up. And I know Coach Prime in his press conference this past Tuesday, he said that, you know, we get up for any game. It doesn't matter if it's the opening of the conference. Every game we have to approach it as if it's the Super Bowl. That's what Coach Prime said when he was at his press conference. And although Coach Prime said that, this is the difference. These games count for something. So even the game that they lost against Nebraska, which is not in their conference, the game has some meaning, but not the same meaning that these games are going to have coming up in the Big 12 conference. So I want to put something on the board. I appreciate everyone out there listening, participating, being a part of the broadcast tonight. So here they go. They're going against Baylor at Baylor. Then they have UCF. They have Kansas State. These games, I got to be honest, hold a lot of weight, especially if Coach Prime and the team want to have post play, want to be able to compete to play for the conference championship. And can they play for anything is possible. They've got skilled players on this team that have to be accounted for, have to be reckoned for. These guys had a great game just a week ago. When you look at someone like LaJohntay Wester, who had a great game last week, Levante Bentley, who had a great game at linebacker. He's becoming the heart and soul of this team defensively as Deion Sanders is out trying to heal from, I believe, forearm. I think he has a broken forearm. We don't know when he'll be back in the lineup. And then, of course, you have this young man who I think showed us something last week. Now, although Coach Prime said that he believed that all the other running backs that he had on the team could do exactly what this young man did, he says that Micah Welch gives them a more physical, low center of gravity type of running back. And from what I can see in the small sample size that we all witnessed a week ago, this kid has all the right stuff. We hadn't seen a proper running game since this kid came on the scene, got the ball, and did what he did, right? Now, it looks like Hayden is not going to be, unfortunately, available to us against Baylor, and I would like to see the 1-2 punch between Hayden and Micah Welch. I would love to see how those two guys could really be a 1-2 punch against Baylor. So he's not going to be playing this weekend. Coach Prime has already said that he's out for this game. There's other guys that are questionable, are not going to be able to be, are not going to be playing. And so we hope that these guys get better, they heal, they get the proper treatment, the proper rest, and so that they can get back on board for this season. I want to also mention this, that because Deion Sanders is out, there is Stoudemire. He is playing safety. This is a guy that, as you already know, everybody, he's dual. He can play defensive back in terms of cornerback as well as a safety. And he's the man. He's a bigger, he's physical as well, just like Shallow. He's a physical safety in the backfield. And one of the things I want to let you all know, because I've been keeping my ears to the YouTube streets, is that you do have some Baylor channels, people that do content that are fans of Baylor, that are already saying that they think that they can exploit the secondary of CU, that they don't think that Baylor will have a difficult time against their secondary, and they feel that they can run the ball. So, you know, people are looking at some of the small sample size so far in this season, and they're not talking trash. In terms of trash, these are guys on the social streets that are just saying that what they think. This is their opinion, but I have a different opinion about this because I think we can do some harm to Baylor in different ways, but it's going to be challenging, and I'll bring up these issues for you to examine as well. You have DJ McKinnon, who is a big, physical, long-ranging defensive back. Coach Prime talked about him in the press conference, saying that he had a conversation with some of the NFL scouts about him. The NFL scouts are, say what you will, they're watching CU. So he really had, in my opinion, he had a great game last week in their win over Colorado State, CSU, who was talking all that trash. And, of course, I'm going to bring him up here again. Bentley, I think they could ill afford, I'm going to say this again, to lose him in the defensive rotation of this team. This is very important because I'm going to talk about what Baylor can do, what their strengths are. They've got some guys at receiver who are shifty, and they got two running backs who are interchangeable, who can cause some problems. And I'm going to put them up here right now, professionally right here, as you see on the screen. Number 21, Dominique Richardson, running back, 6'1", 212 pounds. He rushed in 2023 for 125 yards, rushing yards overall. So he rushed for 125, but his rushing yards was 519. Yak 4.2, one rushing TD. He recorded 152 receiving yards, so that shows that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. One touchdown receiving. So with those numbers, they don't jump out of the wall or jump out the window to you. So it shows that he's probably doesn't have a lot of experience, but they're going to be leaning on him this upcoming weekend. Let me go to their other running back, and this is Richard Reese, number 29, 5'9". He's a smaller back, compact, 5'9", 183 pounds, not a really big guy. He had 66 rush last year with a total of rushing yards of 306, yak for 4.6, two rushing TDs, receiving 24. So you're looking at two young running backs who their stats from a year, these are stats from a year ago. They don't jump out. They don't scare you, but these are young guys that are coming on for Baylor. And of course, Baylor is they won their first two games of the season. They beat Air Force last week. Now, let's be honest, Air Force is not a world beater. Air Force doesn't have this dominant offensive team. And Air Force, when I looked at the numbers, the stats, Air Force really didn't throw the ball a lot because they're really a running type football team. So Air Force didn't challenge Baylor really in the air. And there's a reason why Baylor right now is ranked 12th in the country in terms of defense against the pass. But don't get caught up in that because I don't think they've played anybody yet with the caliber of receiving core, as you already know, that CU possesses when you have someone like Travis Hunter. You have a young man throwing the ball. They didn't go against a quarterback like Shador a week ago. No. going up against someone like Shador, who can get the ball down deep, can read the defense. And as we already know, if you give him time, he can make magic happen, as you see him practicing here. Let me say peace and love to James Blackburn. Shirley is in the house, everybody. Alicia is in the house. Appreciate you all here. Sky is in the house. And we'll just see how things happen tonight. People will come over. I don't think that they faced that type of talent level at the quarterback in the last 2 games that they've played out of conference. They're going to have to deal with someone like Jimmy Horn Jr., who can be disruptive, okay? And I'm going to say again, they got to deal with someone like Travis Hunter. And I don't want to sleep on this young man right here. And let's get this young man in here. This young man right here, LaJohntay Wester. Wester, as we witnessed last week, had 2 touchdowns, had a breakout game last week, just like Travis Hunter. So I don't think they've faced anybody like this. Even though their secondary is ranked pretty high within college football, meaning they've got some guys, I'm not going to lie to you, they've got some guys that can cover in their secondary. For example, number 19, Jenkins, 6'1", 176 pounds. Everybody, I give you a professional show. I give you a professional analysis here. Jenkins had 37 tackles last year, 3 interceptions, 2 forced interceptions or forced tackles. 6'1", 176 pounds. He's lean, and he's one of their cornerbacks that CU receivers will have to match up with. There's another young man right here, Kendrick, who is their safety at 6 foot tall, 202 pounds. Now, look, last year, number 16, Kendrick, had about 50 tackles for Baylor, okay? He had 6.5 sacks, which means for him to get those sacks, that means that Baylor defensively, they might like to drop their safeties down to kind of blitz in there, right? So he's a young man that they have. They also have a star linebacker, number 2, Matt Jones, who has 82 tackles from last year, 3.0 sacks, 3.0 sacks. He's 6'3", 246 pounds. He is one of their linebackers. Another young man to watch out for is their defensive end, Steve Linton, who had 22 tackles, 3.0 sacks. He stands at 6'5", tall, lean, strong guy, 239 pounds. These are just key guys that I'm bringing up. Sarak is number 78, is their 6'4", 312 pound tackle. He's a guard, not tackle. He's a guard. And this is a guy that's pretty damn good within the interior of their offensive line. So this is somebody that CU definitely needs to watch out for, be very mindful of, should I say. And then when it comes to their receiving core, they have a young receiving core. Hawkins, number 89, 5'10", 170 pounds. He racked up 55 receptions last year for 874 yards. Yak at 15.9, 3 receptions for a TD. Then they got this guy right here, Baldwin, number 80, 38 receptions for 623 yards, 16.4 yak, rushing yards, rushing the ball, which means this is a guy that they may like to run out, may take him and do some, reverses. They might do some tricky things with Baldwin because he had 17 yards rushing, so that means he could be, maybe he's a punt return. I don't know. One of the things I noticed is that their team is very young. They have a very young team, so you don't see these big stats that jump out to you. But this is one of those games that you come off of the emotional high of beating your rival in the Rocky Mountain Showdown, the emotional high of that, putting it all on the line. And sometimes when teams have these great games and they come off that emotional high, you can have letdown. I'm not saying that they're going to have a letdown, but I don't think you can go to sleep on any team. Like Coach Prime says, they're going to prepare for every team as if it is every team that they play presents a situation like they're playing in a Super Bowl. And I just wanted to bring these things up to your attention. This is important to understand about Baylor is being led by their coach, Dave Aranda, who's had some really, this is not like last week with Jay Norvell talking all that trash. This man has truly humbled himself, has had very positive things to say about Coach Prime. And I'm going to get to that and let you hear what he had to say and hear another one of his. So, you know, a coach reflects the team and the players reflect the coach's philosophy. And what I'm saying is that Coach Dave Aranda and his positive assessment of CU, and then hearing one of his linebackers on this team, one of his players, have good things to say, tells you that they're not over there talking trash in Texas right now. They're over there saying, hey, we got a strong opponent that's coming in, that we got to respect what they can bring to the table. It's going to be a challenge. This is what their numbers are right now. Passing yards, 229.3. Rushing yards, 167.3. Their kicking points is 26. Kicking return average at 15.0. Punt return average at 13.8. Their sack average right now is at 4.0. Third down efficiency, everybody, is at 43.9. I give you the damn analysis over here on the Prime Sports Media. If you're going to do a pregame show and you need to understand how these teams match up, you've got to give the people every damn thing that is necessary to understand how this game, what CU is facing, and understand what Baylor is going to be facing from CU. Okay? Once again, their yards game is 381.0. And so they've got some good numbers. Once again, they've got a secondary that is ranked very high in all of college football, but they haven't played against anyone like CU. Our advantage is that because we do some things that they may not be ready for with the skill players that we have. However, they have elaborate defenses that they play, and I will talk about that tonight. First, against Air Force, which Air Force is not a world beater, ladies and gentlemen, at all. They're more of a running team, and they really didn't pass against this team we call Baylor. Now, first downs, Baylor had 20 first downs to Air Force's 12. These are the stats that I'm putting up for you right here. Passing, check this out. I know what the hell I'm talking about. Air Force only had 25 yards passing. That's abysmal. They're not a good football team, okay? But Baylor had 248 yards in total passing. Rushing, Baylor had 230 yards in total rushing versus Air Force with 193 yards total rushing because, like I said, Air Force is a running football program, okay? Turnovers. Now, this is where we could hurt Baylor. They had they had 3 turnovers against Air Force. However, Air Force gave up 3 turnovers as well. Fumbles for a loss. They coughed up the ball. That's probably part of their turnovers. These young running backs that they have, Richard Reese, as I said before, one of these guys coughed up the ball. Maybe a receiver coughed up the ball. Maybe the quarterbacks coughed up the ball. I'm not sure, but I'm here to give you the analysis because what it shows you is that they do have a problem with giving up the football, right? Now, they've made some improvements to the secondary because a year ago in 2023, Baylor did not have a great secondary. Now, what we know is that you have the transfer portal. You can get guys through the transfer portal that can transform your team, and I think they've gotten guys that have transferred over. They've made some fixes in the deficits of their secondary, and now it's a better secondary, but you cannot be fooled by what they're saying right here. Now, what are they saying right here? Let's put this up right here. Now, let me go right here. Baylor football defense is good. The Bears lead the nation in passing defense and are ranked 12th in both scoring and total defense. So their total defense is ranked 12th in both scoring and total defense. Baylor quarterback Deion Finn watched from the sidelines during the Bears game at Air Force. Now, this is the area, ladies and gentlemen, and I appreciate everybody in the chat room listening. This is the area that we most need to focus on right here. They are a football team. Baylor is a football team under the leadership of one Dave Aranda. They are a football team that likes to interchange their quarterbacks. What's the difference between their quarterbacks? Well, last week, Robinson, who you see right here, he led the team against Air Force. Robinson is more of a guy who stays in the pocket, strong arm, gets the ball down the field, more of a quarterback that's processing everything and taking his time, getting the ball down the field, an accurate passer. He's not a dual threat, doesn't have the athleticism of someone like Deion Finn. And Deion Finn originally came over from Toledo, where he played football and put up some pretty good numbers when he was at Toledo. All right. Baylor senior quarterback Deion Finn is heading to the 2024 Manning Passing Academy. Okay. This man is from Louisiana. The event will run from Thursday to Sunday. Now, let's get to the point here. The past season, Brother Finn, the first team All-MAC, All Most Valuable Player selection, accounted for 2,657 yards, 22 touchdowns through the air, while adding 563 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. I'm saying this because we're going to see this kid. I think they're going to play both quarterbacks. They're going to bring him in. Coach Prime is already saying that they're preparing for both quarterbacks, one that can run, that's a dual threat, that can throw the ball, who's athletic, can get the ball down the field, can run some zone option plays, because they run a spread offense, ladies and gentlemen, like this. Here is what Baylor likes to do. Let me put this up right here. Boom. Baylor Bears football team runs a spread offense with a focus on the wide zone concept. This is what CU is going to have to watch out for. I'm sure they're preparing for this. The wide zone concept requires players to block side to side and get to the second level. Then line up again and run sprints, meaning they're going to run an up-tempo offense, sort of like what Oregon does. Okay, the Bears also use variations of wide zone concepts such as the pin, pull, and tackle toss. I give you the analysis, everybody. Something that we got to think about. Understanding, I believe and feel and believe that CU can beat Baylor, but we need to recognize what Baylor is going to try to do to CU. Okay, I think that they feel that they can run against CU. I think that their fans and the people that do social media for Baylor are already saying that they think that they can attack the secondary. I mean, not the secondary. They can attack. They can attack the secondary of CU. And they feel that their secondary, which is ranked pretty high, and their defense overall at 12 in the nation, they feel they can match up with CU. But the problem is they didn't play against great teams, like I said, again, in the first 2 games of the season. And they haven't seen anything the likes of what Coach Prime and CU can bring to the table. You got Travis Hunter, who you see right there on this picture. You've got Jimmy Horn. Everybody in the audience, please give us a breakdown or an intro of what's going on. I want to get more people involved in the show here. I want those of you that are listening in the chat room, wherever you may be, give us a report on Amarion Miller. What is his status? We know that some guys are hurt. What is his status? You got Will Sheppard, who had a pretty good game last week. He did drop a couple of balls that really could have been crucial in us putting up more points and being in better position. But nevertheless, he made some key plays down the stretch of that game. That's Will Sheppard, who came over originally from Vanderbilt, which is in the SEC. And, of course, LaJohntay Wester and his brother on this team, he had a hell of a game last week. We got to give him another clap again. Amarion Miller is just awaiting opportunity. Well, this is how I look at it, everybody. I think the opportunity's got to be right now. Okay? Look, this is my position. Coach Prime has gotten a lot of great players in the program. I was saying this to myself before I went live tonight. I feel like he needs to rotate the talent on the team. This is just my opinion. Get them out there. Give them an opportunity, right? Get them in the game. What do they do in the NFL, everybody? Right? Viral Authority coming in, and I appreciate you, my brother, says Amarion Miller is just awaiting his opportunity. And I like that. But this is the thing. What do they do in the NFL? Let's put this up here. What do they do in the NFL, everybody? They have packages. Coaches will put together packages to get certain players in the game on certain downs, certain situations. I think in certain situations, Amarion Miller, when you say he's awaiting his opportunity, I feel like an opportunity should be created for the brother, especially when we witnessed Amarion Miller against USC a year ago have a breakout game when they put him in a certain situation. I feel like use all the talent on this team that you have at your disposal so that you can maximize the opportunities to win the damn games. It's just that simple to me, folks. So I want to see every opportunity, right? We know what Travis Hunter can do. We know what he brings to the table. We know what Shador brings to the table. We know these things. But I want to see what these other kids on this team can do. Give an opportunity, make it happen. We need them out there. Because this team, we cannot sleep on Baylor. They have a good coach. They are ranked number 12 in the nation in defense, total defense. They got a good secondary that I'm looking forward to seeing how they match up with our receivers, although I don't think they're going to be able to stop our receiving core. I really just don't think so. Because I'm going to lay on this again. I want everybody go back and look at the last two teams they played against. These were not teams that were great football teams. We can make an argument that the CU has already played, let's be honest, they have already played 3 games in which they've gone against 3 teams that are more competitive than the teams that Baylor played against. North Dakota State, a hell of a competitive team. Nebraska obviously was a competitive team. And whether we love them or hate them, CSU, I think, is more competitive than Air Force and the 2 teams that Baylor has played against. So I think that the 3 teams that CU have played so far, I think this has prepared. I think that loss to Nebraska woke them up, got the cobwebs out, told these young men, hey, wait a minute, it's college football time. Let's wake up. Let's wake up.
Tell the truth.
We got to play. Now, even though Coach Prime says, well, we get up for all games, it don't matter if it's conference, folks, don't be fooled by all of this. It's a conference game. These games count more. You know damn well that this football team is getting up for this game. There's no doubt in my mind that they are, Coach Prime. And I'm just keeping it real, sir. There's no way that they're taking a lax attitude, because I think that the Nebraska game, losing the way they did against Nebraska early on in the season, I believe, how do you believe, everybody, was a wake-up call for them.
Tell the truth.
Do you believe what I'm saying? Do you agree? Put 7s in the chat room if you agree We got a lot of great people here. We got Sports 247 in the house saying, I agree. Said, keep this Travis in the game. Let me put some of these messages up on here. I don't want to keep you all night, but I definitely want to put some of these good messages in here because I appreciate everybody coming over tonight. Indo Sports 247 says, I agree. I said, keep Travis in motion so Shador can see what defense is doing. Rotate all the wide receivers and run plays based on each receiver's individual skill set. Yes, I agree with that. Yes. And I think they should move. I think they should move because they're going to double team. I've been saying this from the very beginning of this season. They're going to double team Travis Hunter over the top. Thank you, everybody, for those sevens. And do me the biggest favor. You could do this channel a blessing tonight. You've got cell phones. You got cellular phones. You got laptops. You got desktops. You could take your mouse or your finger. See that little button that says share? You could literally share this to your Facebook right now. You can share it to your Twitter or X, as we're calling it. You can share it to all your social media right now, and you won't miss anything, and it won't cost you anything.
Tell the truth. And
I appreciate you. But they have to move Travis Hunter around. Thank you, Hall. Thank you, Rakeem770. Scoop. Thank you for being here. Alicia, Red, Vine65. Thank you, everybody. Shirley, some of my mods in there. Appreciate you playing for birdies. Appreciate everybody who's over here. Repzillion, I think, what's that? SREPREZENT. What's up to you? Play for the birdies. Thank you. Doc, thank you for coming over. He says Miller, clap for Webster is these guys. Look. I want to stay on track here. I'm going to say it and say it again. Travis Hunter needs to be moved around, put in motion so Shador can see what the defense is in. I think that just my opinion, I think Colorado should give Baylor one look, and then when the ball is snapped, give them a look, but then go do something else. Keep them off balance. This is what they do in the NFL. They give the defense a look, make the defense think that, hey, we're going to do this when you're doing the opposite of what the defense thinks you're going to do based on the look that they give you. And like I said already to you earlier, for those of you who just came in, Baylor, with their spread offense, Baylor wants to run a zone concept. And out of those options, they're going to put in Dequan Finn, who is their running quarterback, their athletic quarterback, right? They want to get to the second level with their offense. They want to run and sprint back and repeat the plays over and again, get in a fast, up-tempo game. The Bears also use variations of wide zone concepts such as the pin pull and tackle toss. These are things they got to watch out for because when they bring this guy in right here, who can play some football, he did not start last week. It was Robinson, but we're playing against two quarterbacks, one that can run, that's more athletic, one that can throw the ball, but one that can throw the ball and run. And this kid is highly touted. Dequan Finn, he was a Dave O'Brien Award lister. Because remember, before he came to Baylor, he was a pretty damn good player at Toledo, Ohio. He played at Toledo, where he put up those numbers that I talked about right here. And those numbers that he put up in the MAC conference, the 2,657 yards, 22 touchdowns he put up in the MAC. And he led the Rockets, the Toledo Rockets, to a 11-2 season. He went to some championship. He appeared in the MAC championship game. In his 3 seasons as a starting quarterback for Toledo, we're talking about Dequan Finn, who plays for Baylor now, who is someone we got to watch out for. Okay, the quarterback at Toledo, he totaled nearly 7,000 yards in passing, 63 touchdowns to go along with 1,700 yards, 25 rushing TDs. See what I'm saying? They're going to put him in the game to run. And we know that CU has been putting pressure on the quarterbacks and they've been moving around. That's concerning to me because CU has got to improve their ability to contain quarterbacks when they start rushing out of the pocket. During DeQuan's time, he led Toledo to a 7-6 season, a 9-5 season in the MAC championship, an 11-2 season. So in his last year there, they did some big things in Toledo. This is who we're going to be facing when it comes to this young man, who I think we're going to see him. Coach Prime says they're preparing for both quarterbacks, ladies and gentlemen. How do you all feel about that? This is my concern about CU, and these are the areas that Coach Prime and the coaching staff are going to have to improve. And this is a must. I don't like these numbers that I'm going to read to you, but we believe in being in reality over here, and it needs to be put out there. Colorado Buffalo football offense is ranked as following. Points per game, 19.0, ranked 92 in the country. That's not good. Yards per game, 339.5, ranked 83 in the country for yards per game. I'm sorry, folks. That's not good. They're going to have to improve that as the season goes along, right? Points per play, 0.277, ranked 93. Yards per play, 5.0, ranked 92. So obviously, to keep it real, CU has got a lot of work to do in improving those stats, and they got to run the ball. Shador's got to get that ball in the hands of his top players. This is going to be a hell of a matchup between Dave Aranda, the coach of Baylor, and Coach Prime. We're going to see how they match up. Another area here, Baylor, I already went over their numbers. Their punting is pretty good. I went over that earlier in the program. And I'm going to talk about their defense that we need to watch out for. Coach Prime has so many things that he's going to have to watch out for Saturday with this team. I'm not saying that they can't beat this football team. I'm saying that this is not going to be some pushover game that's going to be a pushover. They're going to have to execute and get into the right spirit. As you can see right there, Deion Sanders receives the cup or the trophy for winning in the Mountain West showdown last week, which was a great. But we got to move on to this matchup right here between Baylor and CU. You're looking at a screen, a thumbnail right now that is brought to you by NCAA football. Bring glory home. Get the game if you have not gotten the game, everybody. Get the game. If you have not gotten this game, you got to get it right away. Boy. Let me also bring up some issues about the offensive line. Someone brought it to my attention that when we were talking about the adjustments that were made to the offensive line, and what it seems to be is, of course, Jordan Seaton was playing the left tackle as he always has, right? He's been playing since he got there. But another guy that I need to bring up that I failed to bring up was Phillips Houston, who transferred over from FIU. And if I'm not mistaken, that was this young man right here. Let's give him some love. Number 54. It was brought to my attention that it was, how can I say this? That it was this man right here. Khalid Benson was moved to the right tackle, which is what he played at Indiana. And I kept saying, maybe Tyler Brown was moved to the right guard, but someone brought it to my attention that no, it was actually Brother Phillips Houston who was playing the right guard position. And Coach Prime said that he was going to rotate in different linemen to, keep things kind of fresh, to kind of see who's playing at a higher level. So let's give this brother, because he was part of the success that they were having in the offensive line against CSU last week. Give him a clap. I just want to make sure I give credit where credit is due, and also want to thank the supporter of the channel who reminded me, who brought that to the attention. And I appreciate everybody in the chat room, because I can learn from the things that you all are researching yourself, and we can all learn together and improve together on this channel. And I appreciate that. Let me go ahead, because I have a lot more to cover about this upcoming game and things that we need to be aware of with this football team. But let's hear from Coach Prime right now, and what he brings to the table as a coach. And before I do that, before I let you hear what Coach Prime had to say, let me give you a taste. I put this as a short on this channel, and it's doing pretty well with views. But let me give you all a reminder of Coach Prime last week and what he had to say to the players after they won that game against CSU. I thought that was fantastic.
Proud of y'all and proud of your resilience. Everybody in the country talking negativity, but you blocked it out and you stayed focused and you lit it up. I'm so darn proud of you. You have no idea how much this game means to me. Stay humble, Lord. Thank you. God say, God say don't do that. 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 Thank you. Thank you for keeping your class and your dignity, because they showed their natural. But how many interceptions quarterback threw today? 2. Talking all the junk. How many catches the receiver? How many catches did he have today?
Not enough to remember.
Yeah. 2 at the most. We got the stats. How many 14 had? Okay. So we did what we did to the 2 guys that was talking their junk. We don't play. We don't stoop to that level. We don't. We're respectful. You guys are raised right. You guys are being coached right, and I appreciate that.
All right. I like Coach Prime's approach to that. And as a result, let's hear more from Coach Prime. Let's get into the reaction studio right now, y'all, and hear what Coach Prime has to say, what he has to put down for us. And let's hear the first one right here. This is a good one, and let's go.
When you look at Baylor and this team, what are you guys specifically game planning for?
First and foremost, you know, every week is the same thing. We want to be able to run the ball effectively. We want to be able to stop the run. The coach has done a great job. Coach Aranda has done a great job of having his team disciplined in the things that they do well. They really do well. We got to, first of all, stop the run. I don't know which quarterback they're going to feature this week, but we're preparing for both quarterbacks.
As I said, both quarterbacks are going to be featured this week. He doesn't know which quarterback, but they're preparing. The quarterback that concerns me the most, because he has proven himself in college football as a Dave O'Brien Award watch list. Daquan Finn is the man who I think is more dangerous, because both, like I said before, can run and throw the ball. He's shifty. He can be very explosive with the play, the option play, the spread option, and all those sort of things. They like I said, they like to run a wide zone spread offense, speed up tempo, just like Oregon. And let's hear the rest of Coach Prime.
But that team, they have athletes. They're physical. They're strong. They don't make a lot of mistakes, self-inflicted wounds. I know they fumbled a few times, but that happens. That happens with us. It happens with everybody. But where he's taking his program is phenomenal.
Wow. As a reminder to you all, last year, this is what Daquan Finn put up. He was 63.4%, 2,657 yards, 22 touchdowns he put up for Baylor last year, seven rushing touchdowns. He rushed for 563 yards, 9 interceptions he's thrown. But I still, when I look at his numbers compared to Robinson, that's where CU's got to come into this game, be focused on the zones, the gaps that this kid right here could jump out of and do some damage. So that's a concern that we have to be concerned about. But let's continue.
Morning, Coach. Taylor Sadusky, Sports Illustrated. Through the first 3 games, a lot of praise for the O-line, but specifically on Jordan Seaton. What have you seen through him and being the true freshman that he is?
Jordan is coming slowly but surely. He's understanding footwork and technique is everything. Because at this level, you can't overpower, over muscle, or out athletic others. He's done a great job of listening to some of the best teachers that I've seen in quite a long time. And you know, Phil and Gunner and Big George, all of them chime in to complete these guys. But I love where Jordan is mentally and physically.
Hey, Coach, Pat Graham, Associated Press.
How you doing, sir?
Good. Two-parter on Travis real quick. I guess you had Champ Bailey and Charles Woodson back in the day play both ways. In today's college football, does it make what he's doing at a high level even more remarkable?
Yes, because it's a lot of teams are tempo, so he don't get a lot of rest. And just think about this. I just got finished talking to scouts about this, about what he can and cannot do. Pros go to huddle, so he's even getting more time to rest.
Right. Do you understand what Coach Prime is saying about the difference between college football and the pros, and how in the pros they go to huddle? And so Travis Hunter is getting a lot of time to rest, which is probably why he's able to do what he's doing that no one has done, where he's playing every snap defensively and offensively damn near.
So most teams you play, they run some type of a tempo, or the transition is much greater than pros from snap to snap.
Okay.
So with him getting that amount of rest, he cannot help but be a great pro. The practices are limited. There's barely no contact. You can't even hit a receiver downfield in the NFL no more. So I think he's a great compliment to that game, and he could continue to do what he's doing now.
All right. What do you all think about what Coach Prime is saying there, everybody? If he's making great sense, put those sevens in there. We got Coach Drake in here. Ed, he was hurt, but I don't know if he's going to play or not. Who are you talking about, Coach Drake? And we got my man Ed in Houston, who's coming strong. Team, you don't think so? Let me see what y'all talking about. Looks like everybody's having a great discussion in the chat room, which I really appreciate. And let me see. Sports 247 says, "What's up, Ed?" Yeah, Ed's coming in the house. We got some great folks over here who support this channel, and I'm pretty sure you all support all the different content creators. And shout out to all the great content creators out there on these YouTube streets. Team JPC says, "Wasting your time. Dequan won't see the field for the rest of the year." So he's is Dequan hurt? Because Coach Prime said, and I played the video, that they're preparing for both players. So are you saying that he's out for the rest of the year? Because I'm wondering, if he's out, why would Coach Prime say that he's preparing for both quarterbacks if Dequan Finn is out for the rest of the year? Team JPC times 3. Can you please elaborate? Because we all are learning together. Finn was in a slit last week. Okay, he was in a sling. He was in a sling last week. So basically, thank you, Saturday Sports. So it looks like we're all learning together here. So it looks like if he was in a sling week ago, then he may not be playing in this game. So Coach Prime doesn't have to worry about it. But Coach Prime said himself, and you heard him, that they're preparing for both quarterbacks. So, there's a chance that maybe he may surprise us and they may put him in a game. Who knows? But I thank you for the information. We always want to be up to date on information. Team JPC said not due to injury, due to Robinson being better. Only way Finn comes back is if they honor his NIL instead of play. Now, wait a minute. Someone said that he's got his arm in a sling. You're saying that he's not playing due to injury, but due to the other quarterback playing better. Coach Prime said that he's preparing for both quarterbacks. So let's clean up this. Let's clean the confusion, because I want to know what the truth is. Is he injured or not injured? Can someone please clarify this? Because we need to know the truth, okay?
Tell the truth.
What grade you're going to give Baylor's running backs? Well, when it comes to their running backs, they're young. they don't scare me. They haven't put up a lot of big numbers, but then again, I'm going to say it again. They didn't play against a great football team the last couple of weeks. This is Dominique Richardson, number 21. He's got 519 yards rushing from a year ago, 2023. Then we've got Richard Reese, number 29, 306 yards rushing from a year ago in total. That doesn't scare me. 2 touchdowns. He's 5'9", 100. So they don't scare me. They're going to run the ball. I think we can compete, right? I think we can neutralize, okay? The defense played really good last week. Maybe they're going to try to come at us with a 1-2 punch with these guys. These guys are young backs. Of course, they're going to get better. Like all teams get better in college football when you give these guys reps and more time. They probably didn't get enough reps last year to put up bigger numbers, but who knows? Who knows, everybody? Let me go back in here and go to another breakdown. So that was Coach Prime, who said what he had to say right there, right? So let's go right here. And y'all know how I feel about this man right here. Levante Bentley is the real deal, y'all.
Tell the truth.
Let's go back to another one with Coach Prime and see what he has to say about this right here. And here we go.
But the O-line obviously really responded on Saturday night. That confidence boost for them, what can it do for them going forward and maybe building on that going into conference play?
Great question. It's a tremendous asset, just the confidence of the O-line, what they've got, because you guys, not you guys, but whoever did it, they beat them up pretty badly. I'm proud of those guys. I know what they have inside of them. I believe in them. I've been believing in them since day one, and they just had one bad outing. They didn't have it all together, but we still did some promising things in the Nebraska game, although that's in the past. So we've just build on each play and try to perfect each play and move on to the next.
Now, how many of you, by putting sevens in the chat room, compared to the offensive line a week ago, feel that they made or believe that they've made improvement from a week ago? Like we said, they shuffled the offensive line. They had Phillip Houston playing the right guard. They moved Khalid Benson, who came over from Indiana. They moved him to the right tackle, which is what he played in Indiana. And I think that guys, when you put them into the positions that they're most used to playing, you might get a better result when you start playing them out of positions that they're not used to playing. It just depends. But Coach Prime said that you're going to see different guys coming in depending on the situation in the game. But do you think that the offensive line from last week made improvement? Also, let me also challenge everybody in the chat room. Do you think that the offensive line will be able to neutralize or be able to handle Baylor's defensive line in the way that they were able to handle CSU? I don't know. Now, Baylor's defense is ranked total 12th in the nation. Their secondary is supposed to be pretty good, but keep in mind, they haven't played anybody as good as CU. We have to be honest about that. Let's hear from Coach Prime.
Truly believe in those guys, run and pass.
Lincoln Roach, CU Independent. So with Baylor not yet deciding on their starting quarterback, will there be any differences in how you handle?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I must stop it there. If this young man is not playing, he must not be injured, because why would the sports writers be asking Coach Prime a question like that? That Baylor, under Coach Dave Aranda, Baylor has not put out there to the media which quarterback is going to start. You see? Is it going to be Robinson? Is it going to be Dequan Finn? So if Finn was injured and could not play only due to injury, why would the press be asking a question when it would be obvious that it would be Robinson that would be the starter? See, this is about truth, everybody.
Yeah, the truth.
It's about facts. Let's continue.
Daquan Finn versus Sawyer Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, that comes down to calls. You know, third downs and situational calls where one guy's more likely to scramble out of the pocket and run. One guy's going to get rid of it quickly out of his hand to try to move chains. So, yeah, that has a factor in when you're calling it throughout the game. But as far as the preparation, you got to prepare like you're going to prepare for both of them. But one guy features a different asset than the other. That's definitely true.
Coach,
Right.
Simeon, School Bus Sports, how important for you has it been to stay focused and maybe not too reactionary after 3 very different results in the first 3 games of the year?
Say that first part again. I'm sorry.
Going into conference play, how important for you has it been to stay focused and maybe not too reactionary with 3 very different results to start the season?
I don't really react too much. I may check some things, but I don't really react too much. I try to give you guys a consistency and a balance of who I am, what I am, and how I am. And I want that from our young men as well. So I try not to react to some of the foolishness that I hear and see consistently.
How many of you think or believe that Coach Prime is talking about the foolishness of CSU last week, Colorado State? We saw the foolishness of their head coach, Jay Norvell. We saw the foolishness of their quarterback, Braden, and their wide receiver, Torrey, who ended up getting hurt in that game and should have never been playing in that game because he was already sort of banged up. How many of you believe this is what he means? Put 7s in the chat room if this is what Coach Prime means here.
Balance of who I am, what I am, and how I am. And I want that from our young men as well. So I try not to react to some of the foolishness that I hear and see consistently. Our young men, we got to do a better job of equipping them with the ability to just keep on going and don't look either right or left, or don't look at the hate or the cheers. Just keep on going.
Right. I agree with that, Coach.
John Treach, 9
Hey, can you get my man some water, please? You got a bottle of water? No, I'm not trying to embarrass. I'm serious. We gotta get him a bottle of water, please. I'm sorry, my neck is gone. I can't even turn my darn head. Yes, sir.
As you enter Big 12 play, what are you most excited about, or what are you most confident in with your team?
I'm not excited about as we enter Big 12 play. Like, every game is big play. Whether it's the 12 before, the preceding, or whatever, every game is at that level for us that we want to come out here and compete and give you our best, our absolute best.
Let me stop it right there. Now, Coach Prime sort of downplayed the idea that going into conference play means the games are more heightened, the games are more important. But Coach Prime says that, hey, every game that we play is a hyped up game. Every game that we play is important. How many of you believe that? Put 7s in the chat room, or put ones in the chat room if you think that's true. Put 7s if you disagree, because I'm going to be honest with you. There is a difference to this, because you're going to play against teams, and you're playing games that are actually going to count towards the possibility of you moving forward towards a bowl game for the first time in God knows how many years for CU. So even though Coach Prime is saying this, I think deep down inside, Coach Prime knows the seriousness. I think the team knows the seriousness and the urgency of these games that they're about to play this upcoming weekend, because these games have even more weight. And we just got to be honest about it. They have even more weight. Now, Shirley puts 1s. I think these games that they're playing against now are going to have even more weight, ladies and gentlemen, because they're counting towards something even more. But I agree. Every game you go out and play, you have to play that game as if it's the championship. So from that point of view, I agree with Coach Prime. Let's continue here.
This is a conference game, and it means a lot more to a lot of people, but every game means a lot to us.
Right. Duck Banks. Duck says he puts, I think, a 7 in there. There's some people that put 7s, some people put 1s. It's all great. Let me see. Ed says, please please hit the likes, everybody, and share the video. Share this video when you have opportunity. Shirley makes a good point. Let me see. Coach Dre says, what's good, Rakeem? I'm good game day tomorrow for me, just over here supporting brother. Hey, I appreciate you, brother Drake, Coach Drake. I appreciate it. I'll give you a clap. I'll give everybody a clap. I wholly appreciate it. Let's continue.
Single game. It's not like we say this is Big 12 and these are the rest of them. No, we got to approach every game like it's a stern Super Bowl, like it's the last one that we may ever play. Or
I got to admit, that kind of mindset is the mindset that you should have as a football team. So Coach Prime is making, obviously with his experience, a lot of sense there. But it's just like, but I got to say this. You notice in the NFL, all the games in the NFL are very, very important, right? In the NFL in particular, right? In the NFL. But you notice even in the NFL, when they play their interconference games or interdivisional games, like the 49ers play the Rams every year, certain teams, the game is more exciting. The game is more intense. I'm just saying, everybody, but let's continue.
Be a part of it to coach.
More football specific. I know it's a small sample size, but Baylor leads the entire country in pass defense and net punting. So they're owning the field position game. What kind of challenge is that?
We got to be who we are. We got to run the ball effectively. We got to our receivers are a tough cover. When we're protecting our quarterback, our receivers are a tremendously tough cover. So I don't wish that on anybody.
Once again, Baylor they're ranked. I put this up for people who might have missed this. Baylor leads the nation in passing defense and are ranked 12th in both scoring and total defense. That's where Baylor is right now in the country. They beat Air Force. Air Force ain't no world beater football team, and Air Force ain't CU.
Tell the truth.
Let's just keep that in mind. Who did they play to get that ranking so far in the season?
I feel like we could do some phenomenal things as they feel like they could shut us down in some areas of concern. But our guys are pretty good.
Right.
We just got to give our quarterback a little time, and we're okay.
Right. You got to give the quarterback a little bit more time. And the question is, everybody, they've got to give Shedeur time like they did a week ago to be able to work the kind of magic that we know that Shedeur can work, and given the opportunity, he can make some big things happen. We're talking about what Shedeur can do when given time. I think Shedeur can do some things because I don't think Baylor has played against any team so far in this young, early season that has a quarterback like Deion Sanders or a man like Travis that can play both sides of the ball and create a lot of confusion and problems for the opposition. They haven't gone against someone like a Jimmy Horn who's playing with conviction this year. Hopefully he's the key. I've said this before, that Jimmy Horn is going to have to come out and have another breakout game, because we know that the defense for Baylor may decide that they're going to slide a double coverage over Travis Hunter with a safety over the top, which means that this guy, Jimmy Horn, might see more opportunities to do what he did in the beginning of the season with the 109 catches that he had. And Wester, I think Wester is a breakout young man, showed us what he could do a week ago. I'm still looking for BJ Green on the defensive line to have a breakout game. Come on, number 35. Could this be the breakout game for this young man coming up on Saturday? Let's go back in here and let you hear some more. So you heard Coach Prime break some things down about Baylor, about what they do. Their coach, Dave Aranda, who has a lot of respect for him. And I'm going to let you hear what the coach had to say about Coach Prime. And let's get to it right now and let you hear what their coach had to say about Coach Prime and their players. Check this out, everybody.
a lot of work to do for this next week. A lot of respect for our opponent, the skill they have, the improved line of scrimmage play. It's a team that looks like they're trending up, and it's going to be a tough environment for us. A lot of positives for us in this game too, but it's going to take our best. Yeah, I have a lot of respect offensively for what they do. Quarterback makes some really hard throws. If he knows what you're in, he eats you up. And then I think the skill is such to where you can only double cover so many people.
Right.
You see the talking and the communication up front, where they're able to hold off, and then you're getting, quarterbacks stepping in, taking hits as he's getting the ball out, and just like it's that's a whole NFL thing right there. And so I have a lot of respect, and it's going to take our best. I have a lot of respect for him. I think the energy and notoriety and the juice.
Talking about Coach Prime.
I think he's doing a great job. I have a lot of respect for him.
So there you have it. Let's hear from one of his players. Once again, players reflect the coach and coaches reflect the players. Okay? And you see that not only is it Coach Dave Aranda who showed some respect for Coach Prime and what he's doing, but his players showed professionalism. And I want to let you see here what this young man said right here. I think this guy's a linebacker for their program. And let's hear what he had to say. This doesn't mean that Baylor's not coming out to win this game, that Baylor's not going to come out and play intense. We got to be ready. We can't have any letdowns. The way I see it, CU after this week should be 3-1. But let's check this out.
I'm just excited to get into conference play. Doesn't really matter who the opponent is. Colorado's got a lot of swag. The home field advantage, I think it's pretty good up there, so it'll be nice to get up there. I like that the sidelines are tight. It's kind of like an Oklahoma State kind of vibe. So you get to hear the fans a lot chirping at it, and, get to use it as juice. So that's cool. If I mess up, they're going to exploit it, especially with a team like Colorado. They're looking for the mismatches. They're going to get it, and they're going to go to it.
He's absolutely right about what he's saying. And you better be ready, because CU is going to exploit the mismatches with their receiving core that can do a lot of damage. We're talking about Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn Jr. I hope that they give Amarion Miller some opportunities this week. Will Shepard, who came over in a transfer portal from Vanderbilt. Of course, LaJonte Wester, we know what he can do. Another young man who transferred over in the transfer portal. I'm really excited about what they're going to be facing, what Baylor is going to have to face, because I don't think they can slow those guys down. I don't care if they're ranked number 12th in the nation in defense. I don't care if their secondary is one of the best. They haven't played the best receivers yet. And that's what CU has, everybody.
Tell the truth.
Let's continue.
So if I'm not in the right position, it's going to mess up my teammates. The challenges they present is all of their skill guys are NFL talent.
Right.
You look inside and out. Any of those guys can really go to the league. Quarterbacks, great quarterback. A lot of respect for them. And even offensively, a lot of people like talk about their O-line, but I think for an O-line, they're very athletic. So, we got to be good with our feet and get into the backfield.
All right. What is your opinion, everybody? They haven't been talking any trash like CSU last week. But it doesn't mean that this is going to be a game that they're going to take lightly as well. I think they're going to come out. They're going to be fired up to be as intense as they possibly can be. And we need to be ready, okay, for what they're going to throw at us as well. But I think this is Big 12 opener this weekend. Everything's going to count. This is for the marbles of the season. And I think CU, they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready for it. They're going to be ready, everybody. They're going to be ready. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you definitely hit the bell notification when you subscribe. Share the video if you can, because I definitely would appreciate it. And let me say this to you again. Everybody that's watching right now, thank you for watching tonight so far. Like and comment on this video when you get a chance. Once again, subscribe, share the video, tell people about the channel. I definitely would appreciate that if you could go ahead and do that. let's go over to another area that I think CU is going to have to concern themselves with in terms of defense. There's a defense that they're playing in college football that was being played by Michigan. There's a variety of teams that are now implementing this new defensive formation. It's becoming all the rage. And Baylor likes to change up their defensive formations. And I'm going to talk to everybody about this because I think, once again, I'm sure Coach Prime and the coaches are analyzing what they're doing. They're looking at video, film, whatever we call it today. And they're preparing their team to deal with these realities. And what I want to show you, what Coach Dave Aranda likes to employ and what he's going to try to throw at Coach Prime's defense, or should I say Robert Livingston, is going to need to be aware of what the defense is going to try to throw at him. This is Robert Livingston, the defensive coordinator who came over from the Cincinnati Bengals, as you may know already. They are going to have to prepare themselves for something interesting. And what is that interesting is that Baylor likes to run a 3-4 defense formation. Now, CU is already familiar with this defense because this is the type of defense that was played against them at Nebraska. Nebraska runs a 3-4 defense, which means you have 3 down linemen, you have a nose tackle, 2 defensive ends, you have 2 outside linebackers, 2 Mike linebackers in the inside hitting the gaps, 2 cornerbacks. You may have a strong safety or free safety. They can mix this up any kind of way they like. So Baylor likes to play this from time to time. They like to switch it up. Some teams will play a 4-3 defense. Some teams will mix it up and play a 3-4. Baylor likes to play a 3-4, and then they will drop into this defense, which is a very unusual defense, everybody. I'm going to read this to you. Baylor also uses a 2-4-5 alignment. Over here, like I said, you're going to get a full analysis, a full breakdown of football. Baylor also likes to use a 2-4-5 alignment, which is what they call an oddball scheme with 2 defensive tackles and 2 hybrid outside linebackers. This has gotten pretty popular. It happened in the national championship. Michigan ran this defense. It's called a 2-4-5 defense, a gap and a half technique. It's called a gap and a half technique, oddball. The 2-4-5 has quickly ascended in 2024 college football season as most popular new defensive scheme. How does it work? Well, check this out. This is a picture. I want y'all to look at this picture very importantly. This is Washington, and I think, is this, I don't know, I forgot what, I think this might be Washington against Oregon, and you see Oregon is playing a 2-4-5 defense in this, believe it or not. Or in this one, you see it looks like it could be a 3-4 defense because you got 2, but check this out. This is why it's not. You got 2 defensive linemen. The guys on the outside are linebackers. You've got 2 cornerbacks covering the receivers. You've got a safety over the top here, safety over to the wide side, and 2 linebackers to the side, two Mike linebackers to the outside, 2 linebackers to the outer side, and then these 2 guys right here where it says Sweet and Murphy, those are 2 defensive linemen right there. They're playing a 2-4-5 defense, if I am correct here. Let me let you see another angle right here. This is Michigan that played the same type of defense. 2 outside line. You want hybrid linebackers. When we say hybrid linebackers, you're talking about linebackers that can play with their fingers in the dirt, like they're a defensive end, and then they can play upright and cover They can cover the run. They can cover the pass. Michigan was very successful against Washington in the national championship running this oddball 2-4-5 defensive scheme where you have cornerbacks on the outside. I'm going to say it again. 2 defensive tackles, 2 outside linebackers, and then you got your 2 Mike linebackers or middle linebackers playing to the top. So it's almost like the reverse. It's almost similar to playing a 3-4 defense, except you're going to have 2 defensive linemen instead of 3 defensive linemen, and now you can put in an extra linebacker to create more speed in the defense. Guys that can cover against teams that run like a spread offense. What do you all think about that? Now, here's the breakdown lesson of what they're trying to do in a 2-4-5 defense. I'm bringing this up because this is what Baylor likes to run as well. They like to run this out of that 3-4 defense, and this is what a 2-4-5 defense does. And hell, we might see CU playing around with this at some point in time. I'm going to read this, everybody. They're tight to the guard, and the distinction between I'm going to talk football talk here. The distinction between a 3 technique and a 2 technique are more blurred, yet sweet is your 3 technique. Sweet is the 3 technique right here, everybody. This is football, y'all. See the little arrow right there? Oregon nose tackle or one of their defensive linemen would be the sweet. You see the arrow that says sweet. This is what? The sweet is the 3 technique, and Murphy aligns where your nose would be. Let's go back to Murphy. There go Murphy. Murphy is playing in between the gap right there. There go Murphy. Not the names of the players, but the names of what the 2 defensive linemen have to do in this scheme. And let's continue on. Murphy is aligned where your nose would be. There's a value to playing tackles differently than the traditional big plug in a gap, as those quickly disrupt in the B gap as a 3 technique, assumptions that football commentators always use then when describing a D tackle play. Part of the reason for this is that the rising popularity of a G front as a solution to dual-based run games. Having an answer for a dual is sort of a baseline requirement for modern defenses. That value also stems in part from the increased popularity of the 2-4-5, the preferred defensive scheme in 2023 of the Texas Longhorns, of Washington Huskies, and the defensive domination of the national championship last year, Michigan Wolverines. I hope that you all got something out of that breakdown that I gave you of the 2-4. And the reason why it's important, because this is becoming the chic defense that is being played by teams in the college football, NCAA college football now. It's another wrinkle to what teams are going to do to be disruptive to your offense. I'm bringing this up because Coach Prime and CU are going to see this from other teams that they play, and the team that they're playing this week in Baylor is going to employ these types of principles, or at least attempt to employ these type of principles against them, as well as that 3-4 defense, which was ran against them when they played against Nebraska in the second game of the season. This is very important to understand what they're going up against this weekend. This is not to say that they can't beat Baylor, that they're going to be shook by Baylor. This is just to break down that this is a pregame matchup review that I'm giving you on this video, and these are some of the things that they're going to be watching out. They're going to have to deal with. They're going to have to watch out for, and I'm sure that the coaches like Robert Livingston, as a defensive coordinator, I think that this is a type of offense that maybe Robert Livingston, as a defensive coordinator who's running the the 4-2-5 defense with them. And we know what the 4-2-5 defense is, everybody. I've gone over that a few times. I'm not going to. This is something that he needs to be aware of, right? I've brought this up a few times about the 4-2-5 norm, which is a 2-5 norm is a balanced defense formation at defending the run and the pass. This is another form of it right here. If you're going against a team that's passing on you, Robert Livingston is running this type of defense, but he might want to look into this 2-4-5 formation as well, because it's become a very effective defensive formation in the league. However, let me say what I should have said earlier. Pat Shermer, to be correct, because he's the offensive coordinator. Robert Livingston is the defensive coordinator. Pat Shermer definitely will need to, has probably been studying this already on film, on video, looking at the different types of defensive sets that Baylor likes to put themselves in. And I'm sure he's getting these young men prepared. Another person that I think for the defensive line is getting them prepared. You know him right there. Warren Sapp. I'm sure Warren Sapp is getting them prepared. Big Worm says, yeah, that's a very informative. Thank you, my brother. I strive for that on this channel, to give you content where we're not only talking in emotional terms, but we're also giving you some football breakdowns. And I appreciate everybody in the chat room. Ed, everybody, let me read what you're saying real quick. Let me see what Coach Dre is saying. He says, Worm, they want to play this defense because you hide your coverage. Let's hear it with the coach saying. You hide your coverage and may confuse the quarterback. So thankful why a lot of teams are trying it. Right. So they're going to try to fool Shador, try to create confusion for the offense. This is why I'm bringing this up. Thank you. You're making a good point there. Hide your linemen, right? Hide your linebackers. But the thing that I think that's interesting about this is that it's a defense, not offense. You're trying to hide to the offense what your defense is trying to do to them. What I find interesting about it, just like in a 3-4 defensive formation, or you're trying to get more speed on the field to be able to hit those gaps to get to the quarterback, create pressure, create elaborate blitzing schemes, schemes where you're playing some man and some zone coverages. And we know that CU likes to run man-to-man. I'm imagining that Baylor is going to run a lot of these elaborate zone coverages. We just saw CU eat up a zone coverage against what? Colorado State could not cover them man-to-man. They were running a lot of zones. And how do you beat a zone? You get your receivers to drop into those little gaps in the zone, lay in those little gaps where they can just catch the ball in those gapped areas. So I think if Baylor decides to come out and run a lot of zone, they're going to get hurt by our receiving core. They're going to get hurt. If they come out and they want to play these soft zones and leave these pockets of areas that the receivers, that's what I wanted to say, that the receivers can get into those zones, into those soft areas where they can sit and catch the ball. So I'm actually hoping that Baylor comes out and runs a lot of these zones, to be quite honest with you. What's going on, Sister Gardis? Thank you for coming over and supporting the program tonight. I appreciate you, sister. Let me give you a clap. Let's see what Coach Dre said. Coach Dre said, facts, that's the biggest thing, is getting more speed on the field. Thank you, sir. And Big Worm said this. Let me see what he said. Yeah, that's very informative. Okay, Big Worm had said that earlier. Ed said this. Going to check out some Baylor games, some last week and the week before, just to take a look at the defense. Kind of curious about it now. Yeah, check it out, brother. I mean, I think it's good to look at some film on them, because it kind of gives us a clue into what CU is going to face come this weekend. Don't go nowhere. The show is getting close to conclusion, but I've got more video clips for you guys to see, for you ladies and gentlemen. So don't go nowhere. I just wanted to break a little bit of that down because I think we need to break down the diagnostics of what these teams are trying to do, right? Because I can guarantee you that Baylor, under their coach, I can guarantee you this coach right here, who has a lot of respect for Coach Prime in the program, I can guarantee you that Dave Aranda is doing the same thing with his coaches in his office. He's diagnosing and analyzing the formations of what Coach Robert Livingston is doing on defense, right? You know he's diagnosing what Coach Prime's coaches are doing, right? He's diagnosing what Pat Shermer likes to run. What's his tendencies? He's diagnosing the tendencies and the breakdown alignments of what Robert Livingston likes to do as the defensive coach of the team. And don't forget that they're looking at the way Coach Phil is operating with his offensive line, particularly off of what they did successful just last week. Okay?
Tell the truth.
So let's be mindful of that reality as well. Okay, Coach Prime, hey, you're going to do it, man. You're going to do it. You've got the abilities. You've got the players, the confidence, and you believe in your players. The players believe in you. Don't let the naysayers, don't let the critics out there try to come between. You saw Shador just last week say he brought the offensive lineman out to the press conference and said that we're not going to let you as the press try to break us up as an offensive line and create dissension, right? That's what Shador said just a week ago. Now, let me show you this right here. Here's one of the last clips of Coach Prime that I want to show you. And let me just stop that right there. Take that off of there. And let's get that audio going. And here we go, everybody.
Troy Finnegan, CU Sports Report. I know you've been very complimentary of Micah since he's been here.
Yes.
But was it even eye-opening for you to see the difference in the run game? I know there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Yeah.
Does that change kind of the way that you look at the split?
Let's not put that on the backs. All our backs are good. I've been saying that since day one. We have to have the proper blocking for those guys to make it happen.
Right. I agree with Coach Prime, but let's not deny Micah had a great game last week, and we want to see more of it.
So I think all our guys would have hit it. All our guys would have made certain runs. Micah give you a physicality, a low center of gravity. He gives you all of that, but I'm not going to lift one up and put one down like we so eloquently do.
Right. And the only reason why we don't have Hayden playing this week is because he's injured. But what about Brandon Hood, everybody, who came over with his brother? What's his status? And we know that Isaiah Augustin, who came over from Arkansas, we know that he has a skill set too. Let's continue.
All those guys could run. He did a phenomenal job, especially as a true freshman, but he got here in the spring and got ready, got physically and mentally and psychologically ready for his moment.
Right.
And he excelled.
Right. Let's go back in here, and I want y'all to hear from Micah and Michael Welsh and what he had to say. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want more videos like this, everybody, hit the bell notification, subscribe to the channel, share the video. I really appreciate you all, everybody, for being here tonight. Let's hear from what Michael Welch had to say as it relates to why he decided to choose CU Coach Prime over the other schools that were recruiting him. I'm saying it again. I said it last week. I think that Micah might be the answer to being our every down back. However, let me not minimize Hayden. Hayden is out hurt. And I just think that both of them together would make a incredible, formidable backfield. Of course, we have Isaiah as well. We've got Brandon Hood. Everybody let me know in the chat room, what is the status of Brandon Hood?
Tell the truth.
I just want to know from your mouth. And let's hear from the young man right now. Let's hear from him.
Deion saw what he saw in you.
Yeah, I was highly recruited by every school, but when Coach Prime hit me up, I automatically knew I was coming here. I wanted to be a part of something special, change the program. Yes, sir.
Wow. The young man is he's dynamic. I like everything that he said, that you like what he had to say. He said a lot of people were recruiting him, but there was something about Coach Prime. He wanted to be a part of something special. He wanted to build a legacy. And if you can bring this program back to the prominence that it once had in the early 90s, you definitely would be a part of a legacy that people will never forget. Let's go to another young man who spoke very wisely about the improvement from last year to this year, and that's Levante Bentley. Levante Bentley has been a monster. He's been a dog for CU this year. If you like what you've been seeing out of this young man, hit sevens in the chat room. Let's just hear quickly what he had to say.
5 first games last season, obviously 9 points in the last 6 quarters here. What do you think has kind of been the biggest difference defensively from last year to early on here this season?
Communication, I say the biggest, making sure that everybody aligned, making sure everybody know their job, just playing down here.
Just playing downhill, making sure that people know their jobs, know their place. This is going to be a great game. I'm looking for this brother to do what he did last week. There he is right there. I'm looking for Wester to have a breakout game. I'm looking for this young man to show us that last week wasn't a fluke, that his power, his ability to bounce off of tackles, to run people over, to get down the field, running the ball, hit the gaps, hit the holes, should I say, and at the same time catch the ball out of the backfield, which he's very effective at. He was very effective in high school, and he showed those abilities last week against CSU. I feel that he can display the same skill set in this game. We already know what Travis Hunter can do. It's a no-brainer, okay? Last week, let's not sleep on my man McKinney, DJ McKinney. He was sensational last week as well. And let's give some respect to Stoudemire, who's playing in a position where there's a lot of pressure on him. I think his father played in the NFL. Coach Prime said that his father, they were both teammates in the NFL, and they both also lived with not that far from each other, I guess in Texas area. But he said that Stoudemire is a physical young man who's filling in the shoes for Shiloh Sanders, who's going to be out for a considerable amount of time while he heals from his broken forearm, I believe, a broken forearm. And this is going to be a great matchup between Coach Prime and Coach Dave Aranda. We'll see which one will have the best chess game available and prepared for each other. Everybody, I want to thank you for watching the program tonight. Do me the biggest favor and share the video. Let people know about the channel. We're going to keep giving you the breakdown, the analysis. We're going to keep talking football talk over here and keep this whole thing going. Let me say right here. Let me see what people are saying right here. Putting money on CU, not just talking. I hear you. Shine comes in, says Dave Aranda mentioned the keys to winning is confessing S2. He probably won't run the defense you see on film. Nebraska showed a scheme that Nebraska played that 3-4. That scheme that I was talking about. Let me go back in here. I think Nebraska plays this where you have 3 down linemen and you have a bunch of linebackers. what was that scheme? I want to just put this back up again. What was that scheme that they were running? Let me see. The 2-4-5 defense is what they run also, but they also run that scheme, the 3-4 defensive scheme, where you have the three. You have the nose tackle. Everybody's familiar with this defensive scheme, but once again, it's another example of trying to get more speed on the field and then use your linebackers to hit those gaps, to blitz, to disrupt the quarterback, give him one look, go into another look, get into some elaborate zones, some zone blitzing, a lot of things that confuse an offense, that confuse a quarterback. Let's go back in here and see what people are saying. Let me see, cancel that out. Ray has come in and said this. Here comes the Bears. Okay, yeah, well, we're going to the Bears. They're not coming to us. Yeah, Ed, I agree with you. To me, this young man, Micah Welch, to me, brother, is a young baby Earl Campbell. I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment. You got it on that one, brother. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. We'll see. We'll see how his career flourishes and everything like that. Let's go into Jamal. Let me see. He says here, watch Baylor versus Utah. If CU line stands up, it's not going to be a pretty for Baylor. Hey, Jamal, thank you. If I'm saying your name correct, brother, thank you for that assessment. You just put in the chat room something that makes a hell of a lot of sense. He said, watch Baylor as Utah. If CU line stands up, it's not going to be a pretty for Baylor. I agree with you. Sister Garda says very well spoken young man, Micah. Yeah, very well spoken. You're telling the truth, sister. He's very well spoken. And what do I got to do here? And then Goddess is saying thank you to Big Worm. Yeah, Big Worm, everybody. Oh, yeah. You know what? Thank you, Mike. Mike, thank you. Let me correct something. Nebraska was running a 3-3-5 defense against CU last week. Doesn't mean that they can't use 3-4 out of that too. Because a lot of these teams, a lot of these colleges, they have different defensive packages, right? But that's right, Mike, everybody. Nebraska was running a 3-3-5 scheme. Thank you for that reminder. Nebraska was running a 3-3-5 scheme against CU 2 weeks ago. Right, it's called a 3-3-5 stack. Thank you. Let me see. Basket Rasket. Thank you for Basket Rasket. Thank you for putting that in. Nebraska runs a 3-3-5 stack. Thank you. That's what I meant to say in the beginning of the video when I was talking about the defenses. Thank you for reminding me that it wasn't a 3-4 defense that Nebraska ran 2 weeks ago or a few weeks ago against CU. It was a 3-3-5 stack defense, which was quite effective in that game. Highway Master says 24-21 Buffs. 24-21. So he's making his prediction that it'll be 24-21. So you think that it'll be a close game. That's what it sounds like to me. Repuzzo. Let me see. S. Reprizo says, I'll be watching Baylor this week. I believe CU can pass the test if they play a clean football game. That's a good point. Let me see. Basket and Rasket says, yeah, I don't think Baylor has a 0 or a 9. No, they don't. No, yeah, they don't have a 310 pound and a 300. One guy was 310 pounds. One guy was 330. They don't have a Nash and they don't have a Ty Robinson. No. So I think that because of that, yeah, CU will be able to run the ball on them. I think we might see CU really run the ball up the middle and run some power on them. they're capable of doing it with this particular team. But we'll have to see, because once again, they have Baylor's football team ranked as the number 12th defense in the nation, and they're one of the top defenses against defending the passing game. That's the chess matchup that we all should be looking at too. Big Worm, what's going on? Mike says, Big Worm 28, salute, great show again. Thanks all. Hey, thank you. And Big Worm 828, man, what's going on, man? It's good to see you over here. Ed said this: 0 was a monster for Nebraska. I don't think Baylor has a 0 on their D line. No, they don't. No. So we don't have to worry about that situation rearing its naked head, everybody. So everybody, let me see. Let me read this right here. I think I read this already. I read that already. I want to thank everybody for coming on over. Once again, we try to give you a good analysis on this program. Share the video. I'm very excited. You know, I think it's going to be a late game. It's going to be, depending on where you are, I think it's going to be 5 o'clock for those of us that's in the West Coast. So this is going to be one of those. It's going to be a night game. Opener in the Big 12. We're looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it as well. And wow. This is what it's all about, everybody. It's time. It's time for them to show what they can do after coming off of a big win a week ago. And wow. I think that's all I got for you tonight. I will be doing a post-game show. Hopefully I can do one after Saturday night. If I don't do one Saturday night after the game, I'll do one right after, the next day. We're going to get a post-game show in, especially if they win the game. We're going to get a post-game show in. I like the post-game show because I like to see what all of your thoughts are about the situation. Once again, everybody, appreciate you again. You know what to do. Share the video. Hit the likes button. Thank you again for coming over. This was a hell of a game. Woo! Hell of a ball game, everybody. With that said, let's get ready to get out of here. Everybody, tell someone that you love them. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and let's enjoy the game this weekend. I hope you enjoyed the analysis that I broke down here. Thank you for those of you in the chat room that gave your thoughts, your opinions, and also gave clarification. That's right. Nebraska ran a 3-3-5 defense against CU. It's called a 3-3-5 stack. Thank you again, Mike, for putting that out there. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, all the mods, everybody in the chat room. Thank you very much. Y'all take care, everybody. Appreciate you. And here we go.
Prime Sports Media, Mike Lowe's, Prime Sports Media, Mike Lowe's, Prime Sports Media.
Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. I wonder if you're social lately. I wonder if you're always fucking sober or emotional roller coaster, barely coasting, hardly coping. Wanna call me, but you never push that motherfucking button. Change on me. What about us? What about the times when you feel like you could trust? Yeah, now you wanna chase for the same shit. You hear the sirens in the lake and wanna chase them. Beauty on the out, but you're surrounded by the fake shit. Beasts in a maze. Sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's a whole different pain. Calling up your homies and it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. I've been feeling like a loner lately. Been a minute since I woke up feeling sober. When awake, I'm seeing nightmares. Sleeping, you are right there, like you never left. And I am hoping that you might care. Change on me. What about us? What about the times when I feel like I could trust? Yeah, now I'm on a chase for the same shit. I hear the sirens in the lake and wanna chase them. Beauty on the out, but I'm surrounded by the fake shit. Beasts in a maze. Sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's a whole different pain. Calling up my homies and it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. Staying on my mind on the usual. Wanna call you up like we used to do. Tell you all the things I could do for you. Nah, 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 to me, nah, 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 right now. I wonder if you're social lately. I wonder if you're always fucking sober or emotional roller coaster, barely coasting, hardly cope. And wanna call me, but you never push that motherfucking button. Change on me. What about us? What about the times when you feel like you could trust? Yeah, now you wanna chase for the same shit. You hear the sirens in the lake and wanna chase them. Beauty on the out, but you're surrounded by the fake shit. Beasts in a maze. Sing about freedom like a bird in a cage. That's all.
Tell the truth.
You've been listening to Prime Sports Media. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night, great day, great morning, wherever you are in the world.